So I'm opting to speak from here so that the slide and the videos are all visible, yeah? And I have about 20 minutes. In case there are questions, or we can always engage in discussions post these sessions. Thank you. So first of all, a big thank you to the organizers who have thought of this conference because CSR is an area which has huge possibilities. In fact, as they say, when government has always wanted to get something done, the mechanism for government has been to get corporates involved or to kind of, put a mandate on corporates, because that way it would surely get done, which is what has happened when it comes to the evolution of different practices, policies. And this is one of the most win-win areas that is possible, right? So while corporates do their CSR work, which could have a business obligation, of course it has a business obligation, but then again it benefits communities a lot, and hence this area has a lot of power. And I also especially thank the organizers for thinking of a topic for me which is tech-enabled CSR. Of course, tech is all-pervasive. Tech is there in everybody's lives. If it was an interactive platform, possibly I would have asked you that, what goes on in your mind when you hear of a topic called tech-enabled CSR? Because tech is there everywhere. So is there something special that I have to offer to you as a Datamatics offering? Let's see. So I take care of HR and CSR for the organization. We are about 10 to 12,000 odd. The number varies because of some of our seasonal businesses. We are essentially focused on bringing in digital transformation in the areas of core technology, which is all your Industry 4.0 stuff. Also in areas of digital operations, which is the CFO back office piece, and digital experiences, which is all about the front office piece, the proctoring and different assessments and all that we do for people. So this is the IT services part. We also have our products in the areas of artificial intelligence, in the areas of robotic process automations. We have a lot of IP created in this area. So in short, this is what we do. So before I get into the deck approach, because deck does help to provide me the pointers, let me start off with a video. So that was just a glimpse of what we do, and I am going to talk about few initiatives which are specifically tech enabled. So Before that, I'd like to share a story, real, of course. So I joined Datamatics in December 2019. And as you know, that was the pre-COVID times. We knew that something quite unprecedented is about to come into our lives and is going to, turn our whole world upside down. And even when I was navigating with the dynamics of a new organization, I know we had to stay afloat with business operations not being down and service levels not to be compromised. So while all that madness was going on, and I know every single one of you sitting here have gone through the same madness. Any of you could be probably there on any stage talking about what you have done for your organization in the COVID phase. But we did not lose focus on the community even that time. So that was the time when we part adopted a slum in Sambhajinagar, close to where our Bombay office is in Andheri East. And we stayed in touch with those people through the local corporator. We did video calls with them to know if help was reaching them on time, how they were getting benefited. So there were initiatives that we were taking even during that time where in general corporate world saw a lot of job losses, not honoring commitments, offer letters rolled out and asking people not to join. All that was happening, but we tried to stay true to every single commitment that we have made to stakeholders, to new joiners, new onboardings, all of that. So sometime back, sometime later, in fact, during that time, I was walking through the corridors of our office and one lady comes up to me mentioning that, by the way, do you know I am somebody who comes from a village of Rajasthan, and all these initiatives that you have here, and when I'm a part of it, I shared these with my family members, and incidentally, I am the only educated woman in our family in 3 generations. And incidentally, our village is full of families where girl child is not even allowed to be born. So I am kind of an example for them that when the girl child was allowed to be born, what miracle is possible. So here I am in the midst of tech evolution and revolution with a team of my own, managing remote work across geographies, US, Philippines, UK, all these places and all these initiatives that happen. It truly makes me so grateful. So that has stayed in my mind throughout, that it's not only about doing something, donating something, actively engaging with somebody, it has to result into something. So our story, Datamatics CSR story, is all about belief. It's that one single word, the belief, is something that has taken us forward always. The belief has been in human capabilities which exist in different parts of society, marginalized, underprivileged, various areas, even when it comes to some of the personal social obligations that we fulfill. 2 weeks back, I was in a forum, which is actually a UN forum, where we had girls from, from NGOs who had seen the trafficking background, and they are locating in areas like Grant Road, Kamatipura, and when we see those girls and we are mentors to them, even at a personal level, you feel so much of gratification and fulfillment that all that they need is a bit of belief in them that yes, you are capable, and we are there to do the rest. So what is it that we do? Let me start with this empowering aspect during COVID times. So COVID, as you know, brought in with it a whole lot of complexities. So that was the time when in Maharashtra, we had so many migrant laborers. Did you hear those stories? Maybe in the newspapers, media reports and all, that there were a lot of migrant laborers who were stuck. And because they were migrant, they didn't have their own base, right? So they were totally at the mercy of people who would give them work, and there was no work happening. So what we did that time was we had this proven experience of dealing with call centers, contact centers in Philippines, partly in India as well, and we utilized that expertise of ours. We reached out to the government, to BMC, and we took charge of the government helpline which was there for migrant laborers. So our people, our colleagues used to take these calls. Call volume would be about 2,500 plus in a day over a period of 2.5 months during peak COVID times. They took about 90,000 plus calls. They touched more than 6 lakhs lives. What they would do is the calls would come in, and I have myself listened to some of those calls. You can't even imagine the kind of harrowing experiences that people have had. Suicidal people, totally, utterly helpless, who are calling and saying, can you give me some food? And I'm not really asking for one day of meal, because somewhere, there is a van that comes from government, they distribute khichdi, so my one day's meal is taken care of. But I need food, grains and oil and spices, the basic things that are needed for survival. So those calls were coming in. What we did was very systematically, we analyzed that data. We sorted that data into different buckets of people needing what kind of help. We mobilized our NGO, which is ANAM, which works in the area of food and nutrition and health. And we actually covered the last mile. We reached these bags of groceries, food and everything to these people. And we would also have these mechanisms, escalation mechanisms, if a query was not answered within 24 hours, then immediately there is a red report that would go to government. So there were all these color-coded query resolution practices which we brought in. So all this was our business mechanism. This is what we do for business enterprises, one segment of our business. We utilize that to help these people. So I spoke about Datamatics expertise in services and products. We also have a wing which is into market research. So we have mystery callers. So we also deployed mystery callers to check that calls that have come here, so are they really getting attended to? Or are there open items, So we have been analyzing data, sending data, ensuring that help is reached, and closing the loop with the people who had called and with the authorities. This went on for about 2.5 months, and during that time, when I had visited my Nasik office from where all these things were happening, trust me, the kind of joy and happiness I had seen on the faces of these employees, right? And as they say, people try to work for purpose-driven organizations. We can have n number of facilities because everybody pays us salary for what we do, right? But being associated with purpose-driven industries or purpose-driven companies is a different kind of joy in itself. So these were some of those people who were at that point in time catering to the calls and all. And this is a glimpse of how we used technology and our business expertise to help the government deal with this crisis. So if you see some of these items, Northward has a huge spike in calls. What are those timings when there is a spike in calls? 12 noon to 4 p.m. So what we would do is we also have these people to cater to the business requirements, right? It's always clients first. They pay for us. So without impacting any of client deliverables, how we could get those same set of people cater to these migrants also was the management that went on behind it. And this is the help that we provided to them, calls and queues and all of that. So this is our CEO, Mr. Rahul Kanodia, always been a big believer of how we can combine our processes with the impact that we have on society. Anam is our NGO which is in charge of, doing that last mile, reaching health and nutrition. And through Anam, not only this community, we also provide health and nutrition to the Olympics aspirants, though that's a different category, that's the area of sports. But the underlying principle is same. How can we empower people who have that need and who have that capability to shine in any field? So Sunanda Rajput, the reason why we put it up here is you don't really have all these examples of people calling you back just to thank, right? That too in a moment of, in times of crisis. So Sunanda Rajput had called us back to say that, we have received the help and thanks for doing this service. So MRSI, which is Market Research Society, they felicitated us with an award for this as one of the most humane organization, because obviously nobody had thought of putting technology and business expertise to this kind of use during COVID times. So this became a big area of gratification for us, and these are some of the accolades that we received from government. This is a second example. So COVID times, you remember, government had to put up lots of statistics, reports. How would they know that action is happening? How would they know if the cases are increasing, decreasing? There was madness going on that time. So there we took the help of our robotic process automation business. So we built a couple of bots. So what were the bots doing? The bots were scanning all these reports. So if you see the number, 146,000 RT-PCR test reports, the bot scanned through those and checked the guidelines, the parameters, flagged what was not meeting the guidelines, duplication in entries. We all know that garbage in, garbage out thing, right? And we had known about reports not being so accurate here and there. So the bots had to measure all of that, check all of that, and accordingly upload on ICMR website what was right. So this entire work that we did for Nasik municipality during that time also earned us a lot of recognition. And now this particular story, which is so close to our hearts. So our founder chairman, I don't know how many of you have heard about him, Dr. Lalit Kanodia. He founded TCS, and then he founded Datamatics. And the story of Lijjat Papar had inspired him a lot, that there was a time when there were these women who had the expertise to make papar, the Indian, we all know, right, home kitchen delicacy, and they would take the dough from a center, cooperative, make the papar, get it back there and sell it. So that chain obviously is a very inspiring chain of thought. So when Dr. Kanodia started off our technology center, so there would be this tech work, data entry, invoice processing, health claims processing, etc. Women would come in. Some women, of course, who would be needy, and some women, of course, who would even come in their chauffeur-driven cars, step out, collect the work, take the email IDs, do the processing at home, send it back to the authorities on that email ID, and have that huge satisfaction that you don't really have to step out always and do that fierce balancing act of home and corporate career. They did that. Recently at a forum at the Consulate of Netherlands, one lady came up to me, a senior person in an Indian bank, saying that, by the way, I'm a beneficiary of that initiative 20 years back, and it ensured, that initiative of yours ensured that I had a career to continue with when my kids were small. And then when they grew up, I joined back corporates. So this initiative of employing women at a time where, let's say, this rural BPO center in Bellary, they had not even thought that women at home could get into technology work and earn for the family. Women were engaged in agriculture and lots of other kinds of work, sewing, knitting and all, but not technology. And they vouched for the fact that the prestige in the eyes of other villagers, that shot up immensely because they felt, wow, you work on a computer. So that movement kind of spread its wings. The minimum marriageable age that went up, school education went up. There were ripple effects to that. Lots of positive implications came up for that. And of course, there are multiple ways where we get into skilling in the tech areas. And this is a promise we made to the Chief Minister, mentioning that, yes, we are totally committed to uplifting the livelihood of people in Pondicherry. So these are some of those snippets. And of course, we have been rewarded by these aspects as well. Awards and accolades are always a recognition. But like I said, like that lady told me, that because of you, today I am an example to my villagers. So when these kinds of gratification statements come to us, honestly, that's the best reward and recognition for us. Thank you for listening in.